My question is, it seems like a majority of people here are against this. So what exactly can we do to stop it from happening in our residential neighborhoods?
Well, so a couple things to think about. We have a very large workforce that telecommutes. Probably one of of the federal workforce, of the active federal workforce that works in the DC area, probably 30% of them live in Montgomery County. And they may telework one day, a week. We have 25,000 businesses in Montgomery County that are 1 and 2 person consulting entities. And when I worked in the cable office, we had lots of calls from people who have home-based businesses for whom they felt that I cannot be without internet. Aaron mentioned it. You will have, and we say that this technology it's new, and so in most cases, if you have a wireline provider, a Comcast, Verizon, Fios, or RCN, and then you may have a wireless router in your house. When you buy that package from them, it may be that they almost want to throw in the television service, the video service for free. So maybe $70 to have internet, and it's $80 if you want to have cable. For a long time in the industry, what people wanted to have was a triple play. So they offer you a telephone, an internet, and a video. So you look at a provider, not to call them out, but you look at somebody like AT&T. AT&T has a wireless cellular telephone service. They have bought DirecTV. They are now doing advertisements saying, if you sign up for us with our phone plan, you get DirecTV, we'll give you a deal. AT&T may want to try to use this so that they could say, I can offer you a wireless, cellular-based 5G, 4G service that got as much capacity as that wireline service that you have coming to your house now. Now, that might mean for some consumers that there's new price competition. I will tend to say that in all the cases I've seen these in the past, what tends to happen is things are not offered at a lower price. They tend to be that you get more, I'll offer you more at the same price. So in some of these cases, the problem is that even when we had the cell phones in the 1990s and lots of folks didn't want to have these, we're using more and more mobile data. There are some providers, it's a mixed bag. Some people it's a business plan speculation. For other people, they look at their current capacity and they see that they have problems. Okay, so the issue of, it's a hard question. Because what we're trying to balance is that we want Montgomery County to be at the cutting edge of technology. We want our residents in attracting a new millennial base to come, and we want to have that service. So in some cases, we are looking for ways to balance a way to have this in rather than to say no.
People who have showed up here seem to be, for the most part, against this. So what can we do?
Okay, I'm going to ask that. I want to hear what your question is. So okay. I'm going to try to ask people to please not interrupt and let people speak.
So most of us, it seems like, judging from the applause, that most of us here are against this, that we've showed up to say that we're not for this technology and we're residents of the county. So what can we do to try to prevent that from happening? Like, what can happen with the zoning? Because if we can't think about it in terms of a health impact, then how can we approach that as a problem to fight against it?
So, well, what we're trying to do is to find ways to make these things that they're compatible within neighborhoods. The county executive will send over a zoning ordinance, and certainly it will be up to the county council to approve it. Like all legislation, there will be a public hearing in which people can voice their opposition or things that they would like to it. But I can tell you that, to be candid, what we're trying to do is to find a way that we can avoid the more federal preemption, we can avoid more federal or state imposed that let's take away local zoning and just say that you have to have whatever somebody comes in and wants to have. And so what we are trying to do is to work on find ways of how to make it compatible.
Is there a way, one last thing, sorry. Is there a way to make it so that we just have it in business areas instead of residential areas? Because it seems like that's a bigger issue for people, having it in our neighborhoods.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Jerry, but
Sure.
but I do want to say is that, and I appreciate where you're coming from. One of the things is we really are trying to make more commercial properties available. And I will tell you, there's some providers who are focused, even Verizon. Verizon has some things that they want to deploy in downtown Silver Spring, and they have some things that they want to employ in residential areas. So it isn't that we just have use in the commercial areas. I'm going to turn it to Jerry.
Sure. I think the most important thing that we all need to acknowledge is that the four of us have no votes. What we have been charged with is trying to come up with the most protective policy that the council can consider as a means to move forward and be consistent. The other thing that the council has seen is that around the country, 13 states have passed laws that would take away local government authority with respect to the deployment of small cells in the rights of way. There was one exception in the state of Arizona. The city of Yuma was able to get an exemption because they were grandfathered in. And so that's a little bit also of what's happening here is our hope to come up with a program and a policy. And again, I mean, so that we get points like from Aaron, that it's not that we don't want to talk about RF, but if there are things that non-RF issues that we can change in the policy that would make it more acceptable, those are the types of comments that we're looking for. And at some point, we're going to have to share this with the county executive and share with him the issues that have arisen. I assume that everyone in this room will be sharing with their county council members their feelings on this, and it'll be democracy in action. We're just doing the best that we can, but we have no votes. We have no votes, but the other side is that there are efforts, sure you do. Absolutely you do. There are efforts underway where folks that aren't in Montgomery County, whether they be in Annapolis or they be at the FCC, are looking to bypass our ability to do anything.
Okay, I'm going to take the woman in the green shirt in the middle on this side. Or sorry, green jacket.